Okay, ladies, since you want to go ahead and get started with the piece, you want to...
We're trying to move this podcast to a different level.
Without question, good evening and welcome with your host here, my main man, Adrian, Big Six. I am Faheem. We have special guests with us here today. The Men's Corner again is brought to you and produced by Sonny's World, where magic happens more than magic happens, empowered by DJ Glam, where the music is her soul, with videography and tech support production by Bones Simmons. When Bones do it, it's Bones done. And we got special guests producing people there as well, Big B and E. They're going to help us out with this piece. We will not be doing any music today because our guest, DJ Glam, is our official DJ here. Yes, and she's here to talk about this this cancer thing. As you all are aware, this is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And we're just going to talk about breast cancer,
yeah, because we're going to
and all kinds of cancer.
Not that it's not
prostate
important.
Cancer, everything. If it's cancer, we're going to talk about it today. So we're not going to do no history lessons and all that research because this brother and sister have already done the personal research as it is, okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and rock and roll, and we will see you soon. Alrighty, so essentially, Six, you want to go ahead and get started with the piece? You want to take us on, bring us on home? Let's just do it this way.
So we're gonna talk about Dee been fighting this battle, and she done knocked it on out the park. So tell us, I want to know, like, what was your reaction when you first found out that you had or was diagnosed?
I was like, wait. Who? What? Not me. That's the first thing. And then it's why me? And then it's why not you? So then once I got through that piece, I prayed. And I was like, all right, let's just get this thing going. So for me, my breast surgeon, every time I did an exam, like I had a mammogram, of course, first. Then they wanted to do more extensive testing, so then I did a biopsy with an MRI. So at first, he told me it was non-cancerous. It was something called DCIS, which is ductal carcinoma in situ. And that's a non-invasive breast cancer, and it just hasn't come outside of the lining of, like, the breast. So many words. So, okay, that was the first one. But we want to send you back for more testing. So I go for testing. It was a sonogram with a biopsy. And that was like the worst experience of my life. It's like you're going through an MRI, you're face down, the breast is in this little pocket. You can't move, you can't sneeze, you can't scratch your eye for like 45 minutes. And then it's like the needle just doing the biopsy, taking the flesh or taking a sample of the tumor. Once that result came back, I'm at work. He calls me. He says, "You know what? I told you it was DCIS before, but with the further testing, we found out it was invasive cancer." So I'm at work and I'm like, "Oh my goodness!" So pull myself together. A nurse called right after I got off the phone with him, and she was like, "Well, did he say this? Did he say that?" And I was like, "He might have said all of that, but I don't like it." Just I was in shock. So She's like, we're going to get through it. We're going to take care of you, all that. So I left work, went home, just kind of got myself together. My mother is like my best friend. I didn't even call her with that. I didn't tell her that day. And I had a gig planned. I was doing something for some students for Dunbar. We were sending some girls to the prom, and I was DJing the event, sponsored by Black Girls Rock, DMV. Because I said, if I go home and with them, I'm just going to cry and just be sad all evening long, all weekend long. It was a Friday when he called and told me. So I just kept it moving. I just didn't miss a beat. I went, did my gig, came on home. I think I went to work the next day for overtime and just, So eventually I spoke to my mother about it, and the next step was to meet with the team of doctors, which is the breast surgeon, the oncologist, radiologist, a genetics nurse, and I think that was it. So bring any family members or whoever you want to come with you, so they can also help you answer and ask questions about, the next steps. So my mother and I go. It was on her birthday, which was so draining because I'm like, I gotta take this woman in here on her birthday. But anyway, the first thing my breast surgeon suggests is a mastectomy. So I'm like, okay, at this point, I don't know what stage the cancer is. So I'm like, hold on, we just going straight for the cut? Like, is there some radiation or chemo? Like, what usually happens? And that's the thing. It's different for each person, each individual. So in my case, it was to do the mastectomy and then treatment if necessary.
So you actually had a mastectomy?
I actually had a double mastectomy.
A double mastectomy.
So the left breast is where the cancer was, but I decided to do a double mastectomy. So it will be bilateral, be equal. Everything's going to be the same.
Right.
And I just didn't want, in the long run, I go for a mammogram for the right breast, and they tell me, oh, we see something in there, and then the process is all over. So for me, it was just like, let's just get it done all in one time. That's it. So, just one other thing. My mother, she's like the strongest person I know. I've probably never seen her cry until this occurred. And she's there with me, and she's just like weeping, and I'm like, well, and I wasn't. I was just like, my attitude was like, all right, whatever I need to get done, let's just do it, because I got, excuse my French, I got shit to do. So, she was just like, well, you don't want to think. I was just like, listen, no. But her thing was just hearing what I was going to have to go through is what made her so, sad.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, but I'm not crying, and you're supposed to be holding me down.
Yeah.
But pretty much I was strong for everybody in my family and my close friends. I was everything. Whoever I shared the information with, first thing they break it down, I'm like, listen, nope, I didn't call you to get all of this. Like, come on, let's get it together.
And that's interesting, because I was going to ask that question. How did others, respond to that? And like, what was your first impression? Just mentally, like, what's going on? As you said, why me? Not me, but
yeah.
What were your family members, your mom, and others? What were their first impressions of this?
I mean, I have praying friends. Like, I have very spiritual friends. So, all right, they might not have known what to say, but they put on a good front. They were like, well, all right, we're gonna pray. One friend, she's in Atlanta. She had me call someone, a friend of hers who went through the same situation. I talked to her friend that night, right after I got the news, and I think the conversation I had with her, it was overwhelming. She told me, by the time I got off the phone with her, I felt like I was getting ready to die the next day. And I wasn't prepared, and it was just, and what I had to realize was that her situation is not the same as mine, or my situation will not be the same. The outcome it may be similar, but it won't be the same as hers. So I think we're going to go to a break,
It looks like I'm trying to do things.
Beat.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep it simple.
We getting
Yeah.
minute.
Everybody, wow.
Great.
See,
So we get some things together. Take the calls for the calls.
real.
As you can see, we're real heavy up in here today. So we see you in about 60 seconds.
Are you dreaming of the perfect audio-visual system but don't know where to start? Unlimited Connect Installations has you covered. We are a professional audio-visual installation company serving both residential and commercial locations in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Our services include security camera installation, a variety of HD cameras, home theater installation, projector installation, multi-room audio, and much more, all at affordable prices. Give us a call at 202-702-6700 or visit us online at www.unlimitedconnect.com.
Quick break, so I got another question for the great DJ of the city, DJ Glam. So my question is now, like, did you feel less of a woman without breasts after the surgery?
Yeah, so once I had the mastectomy, they put something in called expanders to stretch the skin out, and that's to do the reconstructive breast surgery. They put in implants. So when I got home, I had these drains, and the first thing it was hard to look at. It was like flat chested. I got all stuff hanging and dripping and this and that, and I was just like, all right. By the time it took me a while to get past that, and then once a week I would have to go and get the expanders expanded. So they do something, and each week they would, plump out, I guess, just stretching the skin enough to whatever cup, you're thinking about getting once the reconstruction.
So you get to pick that.
You can, but I mean, for me, it's like, I'm a modest person, so I'm never like all breasts out, bleached and curly on, so I wasn't going to just be all extra with it, I want to be able to wear the same blouses and keep the shirt buttoned. So,
Okay.
but yeah.
Okay, we're gonna pause for a second and we're gonna dive into E's story. So E, I done known you from this basketball circuit, and I'm used to this tall guy coaching all these people. You didn't coach across the country, technically.
Pretty much.
Right. You got a hell of a story with this sports industry. So when you was diagnosed, what was your reaction? How did you react to these things?
It's funny that you say that because I had just signed my first contract to become an assistant coach at Hampton University.
Ooh.
And, get teased by my buddy here. I ain't got no game, so I used to work out with the guys at the gym at school. And one day I wiped my throat and I felt a lump, and I'm like, well, maybe I'm getting sick because I'm sleeping under the air conditioner. And about a month later, I noticed it was bigger. It was sticking out. And so I go to the doctor, and they take these needles about this long, and they poking me, biopsies. And Lord and behold, about a month later, I get that dreadful phone call that you have cancer. I hung the phone up because I thought it was a joke.
Right.
And the doctor called me back and was like, did you hear what I said? And I said, yeah, but I think you got the wrong number. And he said, Eric, you have cancer. And I cried myself. I cried.
What kind of cancer did they diagnose you with?
I had the same cancer as Jim Kelly, the football player.
Yes.
Jim Calhoun, the coach at UConn.
Okay.
And the coach that used to be at the Denver Nuggets, I can't remember his name. It's called squamous cell carcinoma.
Say that again.
Squamous cell carcinoma.
Okay.
It was an unknown primary, which means they never found out where it came from. They seemed to think it came from behind my tongue somewhere. But it was tough. It was tough. I'm thinking I finally achieved my dream of becoming a college basketball coach. Right. And then I'm thinking about to die. And so, I had a decision to make. I made a decision, but it wasn't a good one. At first, I wasn't gonna fight. I wasn't gonna fight. And so I had said, the hell with it. I'm gonna check out, but I'm gonna go out gracefully. And I started thinking, I'm being selfish.
Okay.
I'm only thinking about myself, and I'm not thinking about my family and my friends. And so sat down, talked with my mom. She lives in Bermuda, and I thought about her. I'm being her only child. How could I hurt her like this? And so it took me about a week or two to change my mind, because I'm real stubborn. But I finally changed my mind to fight. And thank God that I did fight. It wasn't an easy fight,
Right.
but it was. I fought.
And let's dive into this other piece because your daughter.
She passed.
Fighting,
She
so I know
passed
this
2
gonna be a
years ago.
tough piece for you.
You see me? Yeah.
Yeah. I already know. We already talked about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you had to deal with your daughter fighting cancer.
Yeah. I lost her 2 years ago. December 7th. She got diagnosed with breast cancer at 26, and she left me. She left me at 28, and actually her birthday is Sunday. So it's going. This is real tough. But so I have a friend of mine named Kelly. Well, a friend of ours named Kelly Wynn that called me this morning. She prayed with me, and she said, "You got a story to
Oh,
tell."
I know Kelly.
Yeah.
Me too.
Okay.
Wow.
We all know Kelly Wynn.
Kelly Rowland.
Shout out Kelly
Kelly.
Wynn.
She called me early this morning and she said, E, you got a story to tell, and it's a story.
Okay.
But like I said, this cancer thing, it's no joke, and what a lot of people don't know, everybody's born with the cancer cell in their body. It's whether it's metastasizing or not. So, you hear people saying you can't eat this, you can't drink that, you can't do this, you can't do that. I don't get into all that because you have that cell in your body.
Right.
And it's what triggers that cell that causes the cancer to come about.
And so you've been diagnosed. What year were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 07. Took me 3 years to fight because I almost died like in 09. I had the strongest form of chemo they had out there called cisplatin. And so what it was eating me away. So my skin was so thin that if you shook my hand, you probably would pull the skin off. And one day I was laying in the bed and I didn't know where I was. And so I told my friend at that time, you need to get me to the hospital. The doctor told him, long story short, if he'd waited another hour, he wouldn't be here. And so it was a long, tough battle, man. I said, but I'm here. And so now I'm going on 5 years clean.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 years cancer free.
Wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You have how many years?
One.
One.
One
Yeah,
down.
congratulations on that too.
And listen, because I remember you ringing the bell, and I was emotional looking at it online, and then to hear E, and just be standing next to E, he's my same height, right? All my coaches, I only had 2 coaches my height, him and Lindsay of Cardozo,
Right.
right? And to have him stand beside me, and he was much heavier at the time, and when him and I spoke on the phone, it was a tough conversation. It's like, how the hell I'ma hype him to have, but I'm glad Kelly talked to you before I did. I had no answers. Like I'm sitting here now learning a whole lot about this, like what she had to go through. And as a man, like I dealt with the fact that my daughter coming on a cycle, right? Just trying to understand how people deal with cancer, women personally, right? You think they go to a machine that presses their breast, or they can press their breast, and that's how they find out. But listening to it is way beyond that, right? You walking around with your breast dripping, and none of that is told to us unless we read it. And then listening to, like, if we didn't know Calhoun, that stuff is only put on the platform for not our people.
Right.
Like, let's be for real, right? And to hear that he has the same type of cancer, his brother's still coaching. Calhoun is, but we're not highlighted in that manner. You talked on the piece before, I think the 1st of October, and you were speaking on the fact that our people don't get the awareness that we deserve.
That's true. That is true.
So we're
not probably
affected
educated
by
about it. We're not probably educated about it.
And those the interesting piece is this symptoms. You don't. It appears as though they just all of a sudden start to happen with cancer. It's not like you got a cold and you get that little tickle in your throat and then all of a sudden it just seemed like it just come from out of nowhere. And had people talk. Let me dive back for something for a minute, because I've had family members who've had cancer and succumbed to it. And I told you before in last show, my dad is a 19-year prostate cancer survivor. My grandfather succumbed to it. And one of the things that I've always wondered was, did you think that the doctor, what level of compassion did the doctors have when they gave you that news? Because I've heard stories of doctors just being so like, hey, look, you got cancer, this is what it is, and this is what we need to do, and it's an aggressive form, and we need to move. What level of compassion did your physicians have when they actually informed you?
I don't know about her, but for me, I was kind of fortunate because my oncologist he still is Dr. David Perry. He's the head of the Cancer Institute at Washington Hospital Center. So, having the president of Hampton University made a phone call. He was like, hey, this is one of my assistants, I need you to take care of him. So I want to say that got me the best of the best, but he was there for me the whole time. He was really there for me the whole time. He was there for my mom more than myself because, here she is living in Bermuda, 1,000 miles away from her son, her only child, and not knowing that she's going to get that phone call. And so he kept her well informed, and he kept me calm because there were some times, man. I'm gonna tell you, there were some times I was gonna quit because what a lot of people don't know, that chemo for me, I could do chemo every day. Radiation was the worst part for me because
So explain the difference.
well, chemo is they do it intravenously through your arms. So they take the what do you call it, solution? I don't know the word they use, but they take the chemo. And they put a needle in your arm and shoot it through your system. And it's supposed to attack the cancer cells aggressively. Supposed to. It does
But it damage good cells too.
Yeah, it does. Oh my God, yeah. I mean, like you said, I was a lot heavier. I was 245, and look at me now. I'm like 180 something. So I lost a lot of weight. But I couldn't eat for like the first week of doing radiation. I could eat food. For the week 2 through 6, my diet consisted of mashed potatoes and greens every day. And just imagine you eating something you can't taste it. So I couldn't taste food for like 5 weeks. So I got to the point where I wasn't even eating. I was drinking the formula. I can't think of the name of it right now. But that was my food. That was my nutrition.
So give me the other side. So it's chemo and radiation.
Yeah. So radiation is where they put you on the table. So just imagine they put me on the table, they lock me in where I can't move my head or anything, and the machine goes up and goes over you, and it shoots radiation into you, and it's shooting it towards where the cancer is located, and you have to do that for about 5 minutes. I don't know how long you had to do it. For me, it was like 5 minutes, but that 5 minutes felt like an hour.
I can imagine. I'm claustrophobic, man.
And see, I am too.
You claustrophobic and somebody strapping you down, man.
I'm very claustrophobic, and so before we started radiation, they had to form a mask on my face, like a hockey mask. So that took like a half an hour, but they had to put me to sleep for that because I'm claustrophobic and I was freaking out.
And that's interesting. So Glam, what was your experience from when the doctor, the compassion piece today?
The breast surgeon, he was very direct, and I trusted his, his feedback and his diagnosis. It was the first oncologist who didn't have a bedside manner, because once I had the double mastectomy, I had an option. Well, he was telling me that I had an option of doing chemo. I didn't have to.
Right.
So it was something with one of the lymph nodes that would make you want, they would want me to do the chemo. So when I see this oncologist, he's very unprofessional. He didn't look over my record prior to me getting to the appointment, and he's telling me, oh, well, you're good. You had your surgery. You don't need any further treatment. I said, well, wait a minute. What about the lymph node and whatever the scientific term that was used? Oh, hold on, let me look. So then you have to go and pull my record up and look while I'm sitting there because you didn't look at it prior to me getting there. So you're getting ready to misdiagnose me or just let me walk out the door.
Good gosh, almighty.
So at that point, I was like, okay, no, I need a second opinion, and I want to see somebody else, somebody who, and I asked for a female because in my mind, she would have more compassion for me because she's a woman.
Right.
This guy, I'm sorry to say, he was from another country. he wasn't the same color
You
as
on the
me.
men's corner. He was an asshole.
He
You were
was an asshole, and
not
he
gonna
looked
do
at me
all
like, and I'm like, this is my whole life. Like, hit it.
Yeah.
So I was able to basically fire him as far as I'm concerned, and I went on to a female oncologist, and she was very compassionate. She was very trustworthy. I mean, everything he missed, she was on top of it. So
Okay.
it was a good experience.
And so I guess we'll probably take another
Break
we'll take
real
another break here, about 2-minute break here, and we're going to come right back. And when we come back, let's come back and talk a little bit about the diet, because we all know that we've gone through the symptoms, sometimes asymptomatic and things of that nature. You don't know exactly what's going on, and the doctor's first impression and how you deliver the message to you, your impressions, family impressions. But let's talk a little bit about diet and what role that plays in this process right now, because it's not necessarily about. I don't look at people now. I tell people we living, because we can go outside and get hit by a car
Right.
and be up out of here quicker than anything. So we'll come back to you in 2 minutes with a nice break here. Again, we're coming to you live from Demarco Solar. I'm going to put that out there, and
We'll be right back.
we'll be right back with you. And now, this is going to be the last live show
my God,
for
this
us
is the
last
on our
live
personal live. So you need to go to the men's corner
And Dottie,
all
you know
that,
you don't
because
wear
we're getting
more than I
into
am.
some different things here.
I'm almost 200
And
now, Dottie.
we know y'all love to hear our voices and be live with us. But it's going to be uploaded. We're going to do our shows. They will be
Hey,
uploaded
Auntie
to you, and
Jamie.
things of that nature. And we're going to make everything happen the right way.
Hey,
Y'all know
Rose,
me
how
and
you
Six
doing?
hard-headed as hell. She knew we hard-headed too. That's why we here.
I didn't know. Anthony
She
Rose.
hard-headed too.
All right, back at y'all.
Wait a minute,
This-
now, I saw your
we
mother
about
the
to do
other
a
day. I
quick
don't know if she
commercial
told
on
you.
this 360
I saw her
relief.
at the giant
This
down
something
East
right here will help you with cancer, with the pain, and help you
We
with
really
sleeping.
appreciate you all
360
doing
relief. It got CBD in it and him.
Hey, he got
No
CBD
8. Come on,
and
man.
him.
I'm talking.
Oh, I apologize. Like Anita Baker.
360 relief.
You say like Anita Baker.
You can go online and order this drink. Look, I drank this drink yesterday and I was out like a light at 7 o'clock in the
Oh,
evening.
you do, Rhonda?
Do the commercial
This-
again.
When
Parents
does
don't,
that have a
parents don't
Hey,
Drop
man,
it in
somebody
the
about to
talk
get
to the kids
stolen.
about that.
But look, we doing the 360 relief, and Glam and my man E gonna get them a bottle, and they're gonna let me know what it do for them. It helps with pain, sleep, and things of that nature.
Can you
Got
turn it
the
around
CBD.
here so my people can see it?
After I finish talking, this man is.
Oh, this man's phone is on fire tonight.
Hey, look, this
That's
our last live show,
Hey,
people.
that's how he
But
carried
listen,
me at the
Hey, we
Mr.
ready to go
game.
back
Hey,
live.
Chris,
We
I've
got-
been meaning to
but
call
listen,
you to
on
say
some real stuff,
congratulations
y'all.
on
We
that
about to get back
WNBA
on this,
title, girl. I can't wait
we
to see
got
your
some-
ring.
We got a lot to cover in a short period of time, so let's get back to it. And we're gonna let Glam start this blend off with the foods, and have you guys changed how you eat,
Right.
things of that nature. Do you believe that stuff works?
Okay, so let me just share this really quick. So years prior, I've always had dense breasts, so they're kind of lumpy and cystic or fibrocystic. And so I asked she was like a radiology technician or something. What do you suggest? Is there like some kind of vitamin or mineral I could take, to decrease the fibrocystic, density in the breast? And she was like, well, the only thing you really should do is go to a plant-based diet. Like, that was it.
Okay.
So I said, okay, I'm gonna take that under consideration, all right, But once I was diagnosed, I did some research, and I've heard about 4 different people came to me about soursop, and it's a Caribbean fruit.
Soursop.
I was able to get the leaves for to do tea and juice. They had a juice, like a little sippy juice box, and they sell it on Amazon. So I would buy the juice, I would drink the juice and do the tea. Someone else also told me about apricot seeds. And they're also good. It's like an anti-cancer type of seed, and those are also good. You might want to try to mix them with something else, but those are two things that that were shared with me that helps, and I pass that information on to other people that I know who are going through cancer.
Okay. E, what about your diet?
Well, for me, my diet, I didn't have a diet because, like I said, I couldn't eat anything for like 4 to 6 weeks. So, once I was able to start tasting food and stuff again, I went back to doing my regular. I don't eat any pork. A lot of seafood and stuff. And she said the soursop. I didn't know anything about soursop until after I finished chemo and radiation. But from what I hear it's a wonder. It's a wonder fruit, and it really works. But my diet, I've always been particular about what I eat and what I put in my body. I'm like Stephen A. Smith. I wasn't gonna smoke the weed. I wasn't gonna do the CBD oil. No.
I kept trying to do
Nah. I wasn't gonna do none of that. So I stayed pretty to my course and just ate my regular food. And it was just regular for me. I didn't change anything. I was just glad to be able to taste food, for one thing.
Yeah, that's right.
So I got a question. So people around you guys, do they treat you differently after you were diagnosed?
Yes. I mean, I don't know. For me, yeah, they did. They didn't treat me bad, but it was almost like I was a baby again. Like, if they hugged me, they held on to me pretty tight, like it was their last time they was gonna hold on to me. And it kind of scared me for a while.
Yeah, that's like a constant reminder.
Yeah, it's like a constant reminder that there's a possibility that I'm not gonna be here later. And then after a while, I started getting it. That it's just love, and for them, they're just as afraid as I am.
Right.
Because I got some very good friends. I got my friend Dottie down in Raleigh, went to college with. She drove me crazy. I was like, please don't call me no more. I mean, it was just, and you thought she was bad with me. With my daughter, she was like 30 times bad.
Wow.
But for me, my family has been affected by cancer tremendously. I just buried an uncle last week in Bermuda. I've lost my grandfather, my grandmother. I lost my cousin to prostate. Just about everybody in my family that has left me is because of cancer. So it wasn't a shock to me when I was told I had cancer, So
yeah, that's an interesting piece. We doing our commercial break, and this is a producer's question to both of you. Should some level of instruction on cancer be taught in health classes, if they even have health classes anymore in school? But if not, should it be taught in school, and how should it be taught to the children, so that because they are affected by this as well?
I mean, as a former teacher, I wouldn't touch that subject because you have to be careful what you say to another person's child. You in the classroom, it's like talking about sex.
Yeah.
Mommy and daddy haven't had that conversation with you yet. Who are you to have that conversation with, with my child?
Yeah.
So you got to be careful what you say to kids, and you're talking about at a young age. They're having health class in the 2nd and 3rd grade. Their mind is not mature enough to grasp around the concept of death. Because if you talk about cancer, you have to talk about the possibility of death.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful. For me, I probably would lose my job because I wouldn't teach. I wouldn't want to teach anything or talk to kids in my classroom about cancer, because I think that's a parental job. I have a friend of mine down in Norfolk, Rhonda. She's like a sister to me. She doesn't care about who she tell it to, because I lost her mama, who was like a mama to me. Lost her to cancer, and so she speaks she's very vocal about cancer, and she goes into the classrooms and she talks to kids about cancer. I think it was the high school kids who are more mature. But to get back to what I was saying, I don't think that should be. That's a topic that shouldn't be brought up in the classroom. Just like talking about religion. They've taken religion out of school, so you know, there's certain things you shouldn't implement in the classroom setting. That's my belief.
Glam, you have a perspective on it?
How
I
you
do.
was treated?
Well, how I was treated, I wasn't treated like a baby. I think I made it look too easy for people.
Yeah, you did. I ain't gonna
So I didn't get a lot of, hey, what's up, you good, you need anything? I was like, where these people, where these friends at? Is that how I got a child? We need some dinner around here. I ain't cooking nothing. Where the people? And it was different situations, but a friend told me, she said, well, do you know what? You made it look too easy. People don't think anything wrong with you.
I tell, you know, as the producer, Glam and I work very closely together, and I will say that she made it almost look like, shit, you might want to get that, because she doing good. Like, she had energy. She was still, I could still call her, and she would still give great advice. She never was, like, down on herself. And when she had those moments, I felt like I had to allow her those moments.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it wasn't that many.
Yeah.
She just had like a warrior like exterior. It was never, if we went to a club, like I think people forgot that she would go somewhere, we'll go like to maybe, not Fast Eddie's, but somewhere.
You know I hate that place.
Right, and just as an example. But it was the warrior of her that walked into the place. And a lot of people didn't know, and the few people I think that did, they saw she exuded like strength. It was as if nothing was wrong. So to call her and say, you all right today, was weird, because I didn't feel like nothing was wrong, and I ultimately knew God wasn't going to take her.
Right.
Like, I knew that, and I didn't even, we haven't been friends 20 years, but I knew God wasn't going to do that with her. And I don't know, it's good that she celebrated me.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing, it's funny that you say that. I learned myself that there's something about you all women. I mean, you all y'all bring kids into this world, and y'all are a lot tougher than us, because in the battle with cancer, women are a lot more stronger than men. I learned that. I'm sitting up in them rooms and watching, you know, they're a lot more stronger than we are.
Hey man,
I don't know what it is, huh?
Mother Earth, man. At the end of the day, they watch this. They carried us, they bore us,
Yeah.
you know, they nurtured us, and so you know, when they are sick, we all are sick.
Right.
You know, if they're ill, we're all ill. Wait a minute, if they pissed off, we should all be pissed off.
Right.
So, but this thing, and that's why it's interesting that Sonny mentioned something about moments. Can you talk a little bit about the precious moments that you're spending now with family and friends, and what does that mean to you? I mean, just to be in with them, and is it a lot of crying? Is it more laughter? You know, are people asking you questions? You know, talk a little bit more about the precious moments. That you
For me, being around my family now is probably the best thing. It's funny because one of my cousins just popped in, and I met her for the first time, I guess, about a month or two ago. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I'm getting to meet more and more of my family from Carolina that I never got a chance to meet, but I knew about them. Yeah. So now, you know, being around family is like the best thing for me. Even when I go home, I call Bermuda home then, because wherever mommy is, that's home for me. Right. And so whenever I go home to see my mom, when she dropped me off the airport, I tell her, go ahead and go somewhere. Right. Because I know I'm gonna cry. Right. You know, I tell my dad to walk me up to the counter, but Mom, go ahead and go somewhere, because I can't, you know, I don't know if it's going to be the last time I see her. Yeah. And that's the toughest part. Yeah. You know, she's getting older, I'm getting older, and I never know if this thing will ever come back, you know, but so far so good. But, you know, being around family, you need family, you know. Yeah. You definitely need a hell of a support system.
Yeah. I'm going to speak on Glam, man. Glam been in school together since what? Elementary? Scott Montgomery Elementary School.
Scott Montgomery.
Like, that's on 5th and P Street, Northwest. We went to junior high school, and now we here, right? Like, we childhood friends. And we hung out at Jerry's, and I never knew she was fighting until I saw it on Facebook. She never complained.
Wow.
She was like, when the next time, right? We're hanging out. I'm like, okay, we hang out there, right? Like, when the next band, but to hear her talk now, she like, where was this person? Where was that at? And when we come back from this break, I want you to did you approach those friends and ask, like, after you beat her, before you beat her? Because how did you approach those people in that concept of fighting? After we come back from break, I need you to answer that question.
Welcome to Demarco Solar.
So let's go get it. Come on! So let's go get it.
Demarco Solar, located at 3353 Darnell Drive in Forestville, Maryland. If in fact you got somewhere to go tonight, come see us at Demarco Solar. We got fresh sweatsuits for you fellas, fresh tees for you fellas, and look, let me tell you something. Something real simple, something real sweet. All colors, all sizes, but here's the deal. Demarco Solar, we customize a lot of clothing for everybody and anybody. Demarco Solar, 3353 Darnell Drive in Forestville, Maryland. Come on, come see us, because guess what? We got it all. We got it all.
So we're gonna let Glam dive into this question right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my closest friends, I'm the only child. So
Oh, we got two only? Wow.
So
Wow.
my closest female
Incredible.
friends, they know who they are, and they were sisters. So that's not a problem. They were all there. They were there. Like family.
I'm gonna get them a round of applause.
My sisters were there. It's these old,
Speak on it now.
Say it.
Man's corner, we talk truth
you
in
know,
Speak on it.
that's my girl, that's my sis, my sister, the blah blah blah. Okay, you know I'm a single mother and I'm fighting cancer. Where the damn dinner around here?
Whoa.
Where the damn dinner? I ain't get a flower,
Say it.
a gift card to hell to the Giant to get some groceries. Where they at? What happened?
Oh man.
Where y'all at?
I'm gonna bring you some food. What? Oh no. This the one. This is it. You need anything? You goddamn right. What you mean? Do I need anything? Come by here.
I'm sleeping.
Yeah, it ain't that
Come
sad.
through.
That's sad when the people
That's
always say,
cliche
if you
conversation.
That's that bull.
you need anything, let me know.
Come on now.
But man, if I tell you what I need, could you actually supply it for me?
Hello.
Sometimes you just
If I
need to
gotta
show,
tell
say,
you
hey,
that,
I ain't got no
then,
words.
yeah,
Right.
shouldn't be
Nothing I can
honest.
do. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that part.
That's incredible.
I was good enough. I was fortunate enough to have Nurse C. McFadden.
Oh, man. Ulysses McFadden.
Hey, Joe.
The government name.
Hey, he used to call me so much. Do I need to come put my nurse outfit? Man, get off my phone,
The
man.
GM of 3 Aces off the chain, man.
Off the chain.
Yes, indeed. But one thing about him, he in your corner. I don't
Oh,
care what
man.
you doing, he right there with you.
Love him to
And
death.
that's an awesome piece. You know, this thing here, man, it's mind-boggling because there are a lot, you know, in my world, I like to think it's happening at too fast of a clip, and specifically in our community.
And speaking on it too fast, so there's a young lady that lives in this town right now that's traveled to Atlanta. She's fighting liver cancer.
Wow.
So she's a youngin'. I used to date her sister, and her sister moved her from here, and they traveled to Atlanta because they was giving them the bullshit. And
Right.
speak it real, they was giving this kid the bullshit here on what her diagnosis was. So she go to Atlanta, and they flat out tell her that they treating you improperly.
Wow.
So now technically, like, their family, they lost their grandmother, they lost their mom early. When she was going to Dunbar, she didn't have a mom, she had a grandmother, right? And the older sister raised Tanya. The kid out of Atlanta right now, man, probably was your size before she was diagnosed. And she's wide as a mud right now because the liver has grown so huge
Wow.
in her body.
Wow.
She's swelling up. Yolanda listening right now, and it's hard to even have a conversation because I'm a silly dude, and that's all we do is joke and play on the phone.
Right.
And you know she's from here, and she done moved down there, but to even listen to her and you lost your mom early, you just lost your backbone, your grandma, and now you're fighting with your sisters fighting cancer.
Right.
And it's to sit here and listen to E, Dion, and to hear Tanya's story, man, and to grow around E, grow up with Dion and grow up with Tanya and Londa, like, what the hell is going on, right? With our community while we're being treated in this manner when we get sick.
Right, right.
But you know what? To speak on what you just said, you know, sometimes those jokes, the king of jokester, sometimes them jokes they help.
Yeah.
You know, because you never know. I don't know for you, but sometimes our mindset is we're quitting, and I mean when we're sitting there. I know for me when I'm sitting there alone, I'm alone, and I'm looking at like, wow. You know, and I'm imagining myself inside of a casket. I imagine myself, you know, it's tough, man. But, you know, those jokes and those phone calls,
Yeah.
you know, I know from my cousin Preston, I mean, he just went, he left me so fast. I never got a chance to tell him how much I loved him. Because I still don't believe he's gone. Yeah. But, you know, it's with those, man, those jokes, just them phone calls. I'm with you
So
with phone calls.
I'm gonna ask this then. So when is it too much for you guys?
It's never
Great
too
question.
much. It's never
Great
too
question.
much. For me, it's never too much. With me being the only child,
Yeah.
it's never too much because I pick up the phone just to call people. You know, so no, for me it was never too much. I don't know about how you feel about it.
No, I mean, never too much for me. I mean, most of the time, one of my close friends would join me for chemo. Maybe like 2 hours, they would come with me, we chill, they'll get something to eat. I never had an issue with eating at all. Like, I could eat.
Yeah, you can.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hello? What happened?
I heard.
You heard? Really? You heard?
I think that.
So, I heard. We went there. Yeah,
Was
we
that
went out
breaking
there.
news?
Yeah, hey.
They not gonna come for you.
Most women can't
Just
eat.
letting you know, y'all. You can eat, y'all. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got something for y'all. But anywho, chemo brain, because I just lost my train of thought. Chemo brain, that's a real thing. So
You get that too, bro.
it's, I can't
What's it
remember what I
called?
was getting ready to
What
say.
you can't remember what you're about to say.
It's kind of like
Wait a minute now.
memory
Hold,
loss.
slow up for a minute, cuz.
We learn a lot of this table
Yeah,
tonight.
we learn a lot because I'm telling you right now, I could actually be looking at you right now and got it in my mind, and then all of a sudden you say something, and it'll go somewhere. I'm like, I was getting ready
For
to say
you,
that.
Well, I was just getting ready to say it now. I don't
Right. So what is it called? And you guys
I call it the same thing she calls it. I call it
Chemo
chemo brain.
brain.
Yeah.
chemo brain, meaning
brain.
you can't remember.
No, you
Explain that.
You already know what you want to say, but as soon as you get ready to go say it, you're like, damn, what was I about to
Yeah.
say?
It's a little like
So
a
you know-
short-term memory loss or
And that's coming from the radiation or the chemo.
from chemo.
For me, for the radiation, because I had my cancer in my head. It was a head and neck cancer. So for me, yeah, it's in my head. Yeah.
Quick question. Cancer insurance. Did you both have cancer insurance?
No.
I had insurance. Because at that time, I was married to a military woman, so I had military insurance. So I was operated on at Walter Reed. And then once we got our divorce, I went up, started going. I had my own insurance by coaching, college basketball, and so I was able to go up to Washington Hospital Center.
So I don't know if it's a stupid question, but is it a certain thing as
Yes.
cancer insurance?
You can
So it's
apply-
like house insurance. You can have this, but don't have
I've never
that.
heard. This is my first time hearing of it. I mean, there's regular insurance, but
Aflac has it, right?
I have,
Some of
I
that
have
stuff
it.
is
That's
a little
like
tricky.
supplemental
It's-
stuff.
yeah,
but
it's
but I
supplemental.
think in terms of other resources, someone had mentioned something about the Watkins Institute is a great resource for it. There's another program that occurs in Philadelphia. I know a lot of people go up to Philly for, I forgot the name of the institution, and I apologize.
Cancer
but-
Institute of America.
Right, but
Cancer Institute of
up in
America.
Philadelphia, and they travel from here to go there to get
Yeah, brother,
treatment
to
and things of
get
that nature.
wiped, yeah.
But that insurance piece is big, and if you don't have some type of insurance to help you get through this, you gotta find it. You got to, because this is an expensive process to live with. This thing has to be an expensive process.
It's very, very expensive.
And I'm not just talking about monetarily. I'm talking not just financially. It's expensive mentally, emotionally expensive. You know, because other people have to become a part of this process with you to heal.
Right.
You know, you put a post on Facebook today, and I remember I texted you and I said I wanted to talk to you about remember. See, I can't remember what I was going to say, but to remind you about a talking point. And the talking point was side effects, and this is one of the side effects that you sometimes forget what you want to talk about. For me, I still suffer tremendously. My bones ache. Yeah. As soon as it get, I mean, you know, they say you get old, the weather change. You know, I wake up sometimes and I literally have to get helped out of bed because my bones are so much in pain.
And you still working, correct?
Oh yeah.
And how did you make it through a day?
I don't know. I really can't tell you. And to be honest, it's my last job. You know, it affected my last job because there were some mornings where I couldn't. My legs would swell up on me, and I should be in pain. And they gave me oxycodone. That didn't even help. I mean, I still suffer from that stuff, and that's one of the for me. That was one of the side effects of the chemo. This chemo I was taking. It's called cisplatin. Do my treatment, and I would just travel on the days we had games. I always showed up for the game. I didn't miss not one game, except I missed one game when they went to Florida. But I traveled to every game, and I made sure I was there to sit on that bench because I wanted those boys to know that, hey, coach, he ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna fight, you know. And so,
you know, the courage and preparation. I don't like to use words like strength and weakness. I've eliminated those words from my dialogue because I tell people all the time, you can't be strong enough for the inevitable. You can only prepare for it. And there's no such thing as being weak. You just need improvement in a specific area. And so I am just in awe by the courage that you two are exhibiting on a daily basis. It's you know, in the beginning, there's an emotion that was settling in. And it's kind of hard to have this conversation, you know, because you don't know what to say. You don't want to say the wrong thing to people. But I want you all to know, and I know 6-1, man, we love you all, man. You know, and anybody that's going through this piece here, understand that you have a place in our hearts and in our minds. And all we want you to do is always just know that you're not doing it by yourself. There is no suffrage alone in this piece. Right. Because when you ache, I ache, she aches, he aches, we all ache for it. And if we can just wrap our arms around you and give you, you know, the doses that you need of healing, then that's what we're going to continuously do.
You know, I'm going to speak from the male perspective and you speak from the female perspective. Fellas, look at me. And I mean this. Fellas, you're not a punk, you're not a faggot, you're not a sissy, you're not any of those things. If you have to go to the doctor and he has to stick that finger in you, go.
Yeah.
Go get your checkups. It is serious.
Yeah.
Cancer is a $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
There's a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
Trust me, there is a cure. But just imagine how much money these people will lose if they bought that cure out. Fellas, I'm saying it from a male perspective. I'm begging you.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor. It's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Dr. Sabi was on to some things.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to say that name, but
he ain't got to say. I said Dr. Sabi was on to some things, and he ain't no longer with us.
And you know why? He told the truth, fellas. I'm just saying from the male perspective. Please, 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 please. You can reach me on Facebook. I will go to the doctors with you.
So will I.
I will go with you. Go get your checkup.
And I would just like to say, October is not just for, I don't want to just say breast cancer awareness for October. It's every day of the year. And I just challenge any female who has not had their mammogram this year to try to get it done by December 31st, 2019. And make sure you do it annually. Because early detection pretty much saved my life.
And can I say this while you're at that? Men go with the women.
Yes.
Let me say it this way.
Yes.
Men,
Yes.
go with the women to their appointments. Women, go with the men. Hey, we gotta go together. And if you don't have somebody to go with you, I'm trying to tell you now, hook up with us on the men's corner. Me and Six ain't got a problem with going. If you're afraid to go in that doctor's office, you just need somebody to be there with you, to hold your hand or to joke with you through the process. We'll do it. Because that's what it's about. E will do it, Glam will do it, we'll do it, the producers here, our production team will do it as well. Call the men's corner, link up with us and say, hey, I really need somebody to walk me through this process. And damn it, we're gonna walk through that process with you. All right?
Yeah.
So it's better that if now we telling you what we can do for
So
you.
if they don't do it, it's who's
And
fault?
it's on you.
I'm fortunate enough to have a nurse in the house.
Yeah, that's a great
A
thing.
registered nurse, so.
She came in here and checked everything out before he sat down. Yes, she did.
I want to close out with the fact that one, thank you all for bringing the story to the show. It's very interesting that I was able to sit here and learn a whole lot. A lot of us don't sit down and read on it because it don't happen in our household. Right? So we're not affected by a lot of things. We don't do a lot of things. Also, us as men, women, black folks, we got to get out of that cliche moment of just saying stuff for what people may, what you may think they need to hear for that moment.
Right.
Cliche don't help folks. It's bullshit. I have to be honest with what I'm saying. That what do you need don't work. Sometimes you just gotta get up and ask. My man Faheem had knee surgery. I'm like, look, man, I run to the store, and I said the same thing to Pendergrass. His wife fighting cancer, and sometimes he can't leave the house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, Slim, like you need me to run to the store, whatever. Like I ain't no hell of a grocery shopper, but if you give me a list, I get it done.
Right.
You know, so it's just like we got to get out of that perimeter of saying stuff what we think people want to hear. And damn what people want to hear. Get your ass up, man, and stop being these. And another thing we talked about, I think on our first or second show, we play too much with the word love and friend.
Yeah.
We play too much with those.
Put the pronoun in front.
And we got to stop playing with those two words. Love and friend ain't to be played with, man.
That's right.
I think we got a hell of a cast in with Bone Simmons and Sonny, Glam, Faheem, like, and B just came on board. Like, we're trying to build a real family here. Like, if we got issues in this family, we gonna resolve them.
That's
we
right.
had a little tug of war and text message, but we still gonna boogie through it, and we all still here. But at the end of the day, on some real stuff, man, we gotta stop playing with each other. If that's not your friend, stop saying it. If that's not your man, stop saying that. Stop walking past, I love you, Slim. Nah, if you don't, stop saying that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with people fighting cancer, life, people bills need to be paid. Man, stop asking questions that you really know you can't do.
That's right. That's right.
Stop.
That's right.
That's all I have. I'm closing out on the men's corner. Understand this will be our last live show. We
last
cannot
live show,
go
y'all.
live anymore. Bone put his foot down,
It's been
and we
spoken.
gotta follow it. Hey, 360 relief drink. Next, you guys will see snippets moving forward. I'm sorry, but the producer said this is what it's gonna be, and this is what it's gonna be.
And so but we can't go live before the show to tell you about the show, but then we're gonna cut it off.
And you gotta go.
I swear for God, look here,
Spotify.
them people's right there, them people right there, them dudes right there. I ain't trying to have it. I ain't trying to deal with them or none of that, man.
You guys for tuning
Hey,
in,
they
man.
giving their
See you
time
guys
to us,
next month.
and we're gonna honor what they
twice
say.
next month.
To my
I don't know,
Facebook
but
Gotta
fans.
love you. Thank you so much for this
really,
edition
really
of the
love you
Men's
guys.
Corner. Again,
Appreciate
we
you
talked
coming
a
on
lot
here to
about
support
cancer.
me.
We
It
learned a
means the
lot.
world
We
to
like to
me.
thank you so much for coming out tonight. I tell you
definitely will
nothing
be
but the
getting
truth.
with
You were
each and
definitely
every
out of
one of
sight.
you all.
Hold what you got. This
If
is
not
your
tonight,
spot.
tomorrow,
Do it like you
personally
want it
say
because we
thank
love
you
you a
or
lot.
send you something
And when
on
you
Facebook.
leave, please leave
Just don't know how much
carefully.
it's meant to me. I
Love
finally
you
got
all.
this thing off my
Peace.
chest.